Were you gonna flee like the rat that you are?
What have you done?
No!
You gotta get out of here.
It's gone.
It's not exactly gone.
Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Po2 podcast. I'm Jay.
And I'm Amber.
Today, we're going to review the newest episode of the Charm reboot, episode 9 of season 4, Truth or Cares.
This episode was a crazy episode.
It was bonkers.
When I had to sit and explain it to someone, it was like I was just laughing. I was like, yeah, one of the main characters gets trapped in a snow globe, and the other one, her plush elephant comes to life and tries to kill her dad.
Charm, Sundays this fall on the CW.
Yep, Trunksy the elephant. I think it was the same stuffed animal that Ray used when getting Maggie to admit her rage over Macy's death.
Yeah, it was her childhood toy.
So I like that they're doing a lot of callbacks, even if it was earlier in the season. I just like I like the tight continuity that the writers have this season.
Yeah, so basically the plot for this episode was that Sunny, she uses a potion to activate this church thing that they're in, this abandoned church, and it gets shrunk into a bloody snow globe. It's just so ridiculous.
It's funny because there's an actual story that Jeff Lieber shared behind the scenes. So in one of the earlier episodes of the season, I believe they had Roxy mention using something called a Mumford trap to catch some other creature. And it was just a one-off line that really didn't mean anything, but they kept it in there because they thought it sounded cool and gave her character but then they decided to make it a real magical object. It's called a pressurized Mumford trap. And he was saying that, writers, they do things like that. They put in details and then, hope that it works and that they could build on it later. So I thought it was cool. The way that it presented was like a snow globe, but I guess it could work in other ways. Essentially, it's just a way to trap something. But Sunny set it to trap Mel, but Mel locked Sunny in as the trap was activating, and she got them both locked up. So a lot of the episode, they're stuck together, kind of doing this frenemy thing. At some point, I thought they were going to make out. What did you think?
Well, they actually gave Mel a proper fight scene.
Yeah.
She hasn't had a proper fight scene in ages, so I was really excited about that. It was nice to kind of learn a bit about Sunny's backstory, even though I didn't really particularly care about it when she was she got run off the road by other faction or something. I was like, oh, who cares? But it was nice just see kind of.
Yeah, they're trying to give her a softer side so the audience can connect with her better. I mean, it's such an overused trope to try to make it's like the start of a whole redemption arc. So I guess they're maybe teasing that she'll come around. Because it looked like Mel was able to reach her and show her that she and the Charmed Ones can be trusted, and if they just talk it out and work together, that maybe they could fix the overall problem, which I'm not even sure what the problem is. So this whole season, there's this whole magical community called the Unseen, which essentially hates the Charmed Ones because they feel like they've been ignored, right?
Mm-hmm. They feel like they've been, I don't know if it's that they've been abandoned, but they feel like the Charmed Ones haven't really been there for them. And
because that's what season 2, so that's what the writers they've been trying to tie up the loose ends from season 2, right? And that's when all that demonic faction stuff started taking out magical creatures. I barely remember season 2, but for some reason this season is connecting to that, right?
Yeah, I just don't understand like why these magical creatures would turn on them so much. I mean, I understand that like obviously they are turning on them because of like the talisman and that he didn't help. But you know, the charmed ones have always been the good guys, and now all of a sudden they're the bad ones.
Yeah, it's a plot that I'm not really understanding too much.
But it's like they've these magical creatures have been radicalized, and if you've seen the promo for the next episode, they're going to break into the command center and you know attack the girls. So
Another
they've
is it gonna be like another bomber type episode?
no, I mean I think they trap them in safe space. They you know try and stop their powers or whatever. They like steal their powers or stop them from using their powers, and it's just a big showdown. So I don't know, but you know these magical creatures have turned their back on the girls, which is just kind of weird to me.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know what it's leading to, and it just feels like I'm glad that they're introducing so many creatures and spells and magical things. It feels like they're world building a lot, but I don't know what it's really leading to. And I feel like we've gotten already like a mini big bad, and now Sunny is the real big bad, and now they're trying to make her come off as sympathetic. So yeah, I just don't know. But overall, I feel like they're going for a political vibe. Like I feel like they're using the whole magical community as like an allegory for what's going on in politics right now. You know how certain groups are marginalized and there's all this violence, and I mean they straight up had a bomber terrorist type episode this season. So I just feel like the writers are making it political, and I don't
they've
know
never
how
and they've never done that one before, have they?
Hmm.
I would like a little bit less politics, but I mean I don't mind the unseen. I think it's nice that the charmed ones have, you know,
I would have
enemies to take
preferred
on.
I would have preferred if it was like a smaller arc and not like the full season arc.
Mm. I mean, it just sucks that this was the last season because I wanted the girls to go up against some like big bad, like a big bad, like you know, like the
Yeah.
OG show. They had the source and they had the triad and they had these like demonic figures, and then obviously,
I feel that this season is treated kind of like an introductory season to the new Charmed ones, and to like get a good idea of what season 5 had in store. I really feel like the writers were gearing up to deliver like a really stellar 5th season, and I think in their mind season 5 would have been like the last. I don't think they actually figured. I don't believe that they thought they were going to get canceled when this season started. I think that all that like merger crap happened late while they were producing season 4. So I think they knew they had to give some sort of conclusion, but
mm,
I do think that they went into the season expecting a 5th and final one,
yeah,
because this is what it feels like so far. It kind of feels like the story is not very epic. It's not very cohesive. It's like I feel like this is just like a filler storyline. No offense, but yeah, it's like I feel like they're just trying to properly wrap up previous seasons before
such
going into something bigger.
it's such a shame when like a show that you love doesn't get to like it does get to like wrap that because they knew that it was going to get cancelled, but it's a shame that they didn't like have enough kind of they weren't able to like get all the stories out that they wanted to get
You
out.
know what I would have liked? You know what would have really been cool is if it had an 18 episode season and they were in the middle of filming the last few episodes. Then if when this news came out, they could have been um working to make the last few episodes wrap up everything perfectly. Let's talk about the Maggie subplot.
So Dexter and Ray finally meet each other in this episode. And Maggie is kind of the mediator, the peacekeeper between the two, and they fight each other in the attic. And that leads to them I think it's Ray accidentally knocks over some like essence of wolfsbane or whatever, and that drips onto Trunksy, who, you know, when they leave the room, Maggie's like, oh, you know, if these two don't sort themselves out, you know, I'm going to kill them. And obviously she says that, and, you know, the worst thing happens. It comes to life.
Well, that's not why it came to life.
Yeah, it was because of the wolves thing.
No, I thought you were making it seem it was because of what she said.
No, it was the wolves thing, but I
Yeah.
think what she said didn't help.
Yeah.
I think if she hadn't said that, I think it might have just come to life and just been like, just alive. But the fact that she said that made it worse. And so Trunksy comes to life and proceeds to go on a rampage. And it is the most silliest thing I've ever seen on the show.
It's really silly.
It was so funny. I was cracking up laughing. I was laughing so much because there's this little fucking pink stuffed elephant running around trying to kill these like grown men. It was just hilarious.
I can already see Trunksy plush dolls being sold on Etsy.
I want one. Be good to have like one of the props though.
Oh yeah. But yeah, there's two things I wanted to say about the subplot with Maggie and her dads. This story plot reminds me a lot of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The reason why is because in this episode, Dexter being back from the veil, him being dead and in our world again, it upsets the balance of magic. So that's why everything kind of works the opposite way it's supposed to. That's why the wolfsbane is supposed to kill, like wolfsbane is supposed to kill things, but when it fell on Trunksy, it brought it back to life, or brought it to life. So essentially it's a lot like Buffy. When they brought Buffy back from the dead, spoiler alert, when the Scooby Gang brought back Buffy, one of the consequences of bringing her back was like this spirit thing that traveled and followed her to the living world, and then it was causing havoc for an episode, for like an episode. It didn't happen exactly the same way in this episode, but there was the whole thing with Trunksy was a direct consequence of having Dexter there. So it's like you can't have this good thing without having some like nuisance materialize at the same time. That's kind of what it felt like.
I didn't think that was necessarily why Trunksy was doing what he was doing. I think it was more sort of the fact that, yeah, there was consequences and it's messed up magic. But I don't think that was why Trunksy came alive. I think that was just the wolfsbane. I think that.
But the wolfsbane would not have brought it back to life if Dexter wasn't there.
Oh yeah.
Wolfsbane. No, they said it in the episode. Maggie.
Yeah, no, that's right. You're right.
Wolfsbane kills. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always
sorry.
right.
And then I wasn't like the guy that plays Dexter. I don't know why, but he just gives me like gay vibes.
That's because he played a gay king on The Magicians.
I miss the original Dexter. Like I preferred the original Dexter.
Yeah.
That appeared in season 1.
In season 1, they had a completely different looking actor. I mean, he's fine. I mean, I know that the actor they cast for season 1, I mean, it was really brief, and I think it was just for one episode. So I'm not mad that they recast him, but I wanted more. I feel like, when Maggie had to send him back and she was like, oh, there's more I wanted to say for us to do. That's kind of how I felt. I'm like, oh, they're sending him back too quick. I feel like they should have had more dialogue, more of a connection. it kind of felt like they did not explore him being back as much as they could have.
And it was kind of odd that how like Dexter was like kind of he came around to him so quickly. He was like, oh yeah, he's a great guy. And like,
You mean Ray?
yeah, Ray. He was like, oh, he's a great guy and all this. And I was thinking, well, this guy just like had sex with your wife or partner, whatever, and fathered child, and it's like you thought was your daughter. Or did he think it was his daughter? I can't even remember. They've changed the bloody story so much.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Ray knew that Maggie wasn't his. I don't remember. I have some that was in season 2 and I blocked out most of it. Incidentally, I am rewatching the entire show on Netflix to, show my support and hope that Netflix may pick it up. Um, you know, um, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
But yeah, so Trunksy was ridiculous, but very funny.
Yeah, what, this episode was like, I forget which episode came before. Maybe it was the one before this one. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. This episode was very camp. Like, first Lucy gets her no, or first Michaela gets her thumb cut off, and now a stuffed elephant comes to life. It's just like really ridiculous things happen this season. And I was gonna say, even the dads, they came off as very cartoony, like very exaggerated.
Do you know what? The thing that I didn't like when Kayla got her thumb cut off, I thought that was silly. I really didn't like that. But I just thought that like when I was thinking about like how Trunksy, I mean, it's weird because sometimes I feel like the show is very childish. And other times I think it's really like dark and adult. And I'm just like, who are they going for? Because I thought like Trunksy was very cute and like childish. Then he was like trying to be killer, but he wasn't really like threatening because why would you be? It was just
Well,
weird.
well,
It's like,
he tried to blow up the house.
yeah, but how can you be scared of like a pink stuffed animal?
I think that's the point. I don't know. I think that's what they were going for. I think they just wanted to just go all out ridiculous.
Yeah, sorry.
I mean, I didn't hate the episode. I didn't love it like I've loved previous episodes, but I do like it. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. Which brings us back to the Jordan and Harry subplot with what are they called? The Gaias?
The three, I don't know what the fuck they were. The three,
They reminded me of like the Fates from Hercules.
I don't know who they
But like
are. But
no, they're the Gaia, Giza, whatever.
yeah, they're the Gaia because as we know, Harry and Jordan are actually in a secret relationship. And so that's why the Gaia were there to kind of bring them together.
Uh
Do you love it?
sure. So let's talk about the big reveal scene at the end with Kayla.
Yeah, so basically they reveal that our bone marrow theory that we spoke about in the last episode was true, that Kayla is not biologically their sister.
Nope, she's not a biological sister. What happened is that with Dexter there, he revealed that he did not die of cancer, as Macy claimed. He died of the Unity Bowl. He tried to break the curse and he died because of it. So, but what he did reveal was that Macy tried to save him by donating her stem cells to some cancer research project. And so it turns out Kayla benefited from that project and she got Macy stem cells and it saved her life. So
And it gave her magic.
and it gave her magic. So this theory has been floating around for a while, and mostly because Lucy Barrett kind of, gave it away in an interview before the season even started. And I think Joey's a little salty about it because on Twitter he said I love Lucy, but she kind of blew it in that interview.
Well, I think thinking about that story, I thought that was really like, I thought that was a really beautiful way to do it. I know some people are going to be pissed off that she's not like biologically their sister, but come on, how many fucking long lost sisters can they have? They've already done that
Yeah,
plot. They
they
can't keep
exactly,
doing the same
exactly.
thing over and over again. Oh, she's a long lost sister. Oh, she's from this place. She's from that place. So the fact that they actually like made it so that like Macy gave her magic, I just think that's really sweet. I just think that was lovely. I just think it was lovely.
Yeah, and people who did not like this theory before it became, officially true, um, people often bring up, in the OG Charmed, how in season two, that one doctor, he had a bad reaction being injected with the Charmed One's blood, and he got their powers, but his body couldn't handle it. So
Well, it
you-
wasn't that he couldn't, his body couldn't handle it. I mean, he took it. Well, I guess he couldn't handle it. I mean, he just took it to a real dark level, didn't he?
yeah, because he wasn't meant to have those powers.
No.
So in this case, we're gonna find out what makes Michaela special, because fans asked Joey, well, aren't there other people who received Macy's stem cells? Are they gonna have charm powers? So he said we're gonna explore that later. So hopefully those questions will be answered.
So I personally really don't want them to do that. The idea of a load of people walking around with charmed powers just doesn't make it seem so special anymore.
The OG Charmed explored that too, with like these, having like everyday random people have the charm powers for a day or so because of a spell that went wrong. So
Yeah,
I really don't want to see that again on the reboot.
well, I think they also did that in the comic books. They like everybody got magical powers.
Ugh.
And I remember they like turned the Halliwell Street into like what was it like just ridiculous like candy cane houses and all sorts of crazy shit that Paul Roditis decided to come up with, which wasn't my favorite plot. Neither was those when they were in that weird realm with the checkerboard floor. Anyway, I know that's not what we're talking about today, but
Yeah,
um, I don't know. I just don't want them to give random people powers. I feel like I've seen it done before.
right. So to wrap up, what would you rate this episode?
I would give it an 8 out of 10. I enjoyed. There was a lot that I enjoyed. I love any time that Mel gets to fight. I also really loved the ending of the episode, the sisterly moments, and we got to see the Book of Shadows again. So it had like it gave me that warm, fuzzy feeling that, OG Charmed used to give, and the reboots been given a lot lately. So yeah, I like the episode.
I give it a 7 out of 10. I mean, I didn't hate it. I mean, it wasn't bad at all. I just did not. I don't know. There were just some parts I wanted a little more, but I mean, it wasn't by any means a bad episode.
Mm.
I still think to right. I still think right now my favorite episode is the time travel episode with the blue camellia. For me, I think that's one of my favorites.
There's been a lot of episodes that I've enjoyed, so it's really difficult for me to like pick one.
Well, we're going to keep reviewing the season until it ends. So I believe there's 4 more episodes, right? Four?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Or
there's four more episodes till the reboot is done for good. Follow us for next week's episode or this week's episode. And yeah, watch on the CW app, watch on Netflix. So I would love if the show got saved. I'm not holding my breath, but I think it's worth a chance or worth a try. So why not? Support the show however way you can. Um, Follow us on Twitter, PO2_podcast, and follow us on Facebook, where we have a page called Charmed News, and we keep you up to date with all the OG and reboot Charmed news.
Yeah, and I'm trying to kind of get the word out about the Save Charmed campaign. I've put out a few tweets about it. People are trying to kind of see if they can get some momentum going. It seems to be, I think they've got over 1,000 signatures on the petition so far. So it might be worth having a sign if you can. So I will leave the link to that in the description.
If you guys would like us to do a podcast on following any of these campaigns to save the show, just let us know in the comments. Pretty much just let us know what you want us to talk about.
Yeah, so thanks for listening. And we will be back again next week to review the next episode, which is called Hashing It Out.
Hashtag hashing it out. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.